I'm in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going to share with you today why the fall is the best time to visit Myrtle Beach. If you're new to our channel, hi, I'm Carmen, and if you enjoy Myrtle Beach videos, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you won't miss anything new. As you can see, there are a lot of people out here enjoying this beautiful, beautiful day, and this is a day in October. And October is actually my favorite month of the year to come here, but the fall in general is a great time to visit Myrtle Beach, and it's our favorite time of the year here. Don't get me wrong, there's year-round good weather, there's good reasons to come year-round, but the fall is perfect, and I'll tell you why. And then I'll also talk about one thing you do need to keep in mind, one concern, but the weather is just beautiful most of the time. You might get a few cool days, you also might get a few rainy days, but most of the time you get these gorgeous days like today. The high is in the 80s, low humidity. It just doesn't get any better than this. It's just amazing. And the second thing is you will have much lower crowds. There's plenty of people out today because it's just a picture perfect day, and also I think this particular week is one of the fall break weeks for schools. So you're gonna have a few more people that week, but it is just a stunning day, low crowds, beautiful weather. And the other thing with the low crowds, even though it's technically moving into off season in the fall, most attractions, especially in a typical year, are still open. And even if they have reduced hours, they're open at least some time of the day or some time of the week. Sometimes things switch to weekend hours, but most things stay open year-round here at Myrtle Beach. This year has been a little different, but most typical years things stay open and don't close for the off-season, except maybe some rides. You'll have occasionally some outdoor rides or parks might close for, like January, February, the coldest months. But even January and February here are pretty mild. So let's stop for this plane because I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. So as you may have guessed, we're near the Myrtle Beach Airport right now. I'm at the south end of Ocean Boulevard, walking towards, this is actually the Myrtle Beach State Park right over here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is someone out there parasailing. They do parasailing. They also rent some jet skis and things right down there near Damon's. Damon's is a restaurant that's on the beach. And so those, as you can see, the water activities are still going on. Still people flying in to have a good time. But yeah, I think it is catching on. I've noticed there are definitely more people. To me, it seems like there's more people this fall than I ever remember seeing before. We actually took an entire week of vacation here this fall, and so we were even out and about during the work week, and there were still lots and lots of people stop and take a look at this plane and watch the ocean. So it's been a busier fall to me than usual, which is interesting because I think tourism has been down a little bit this year, but the fall I think has actually been busier this year. At least it feels that way. It's not scientific, I'm just going by gut feel. But we've been coming here many, many, many years. Love watching the planes come in. So leave me a comment. Do you enjoy aviation and watching the planes come in like I do? I think Brian's an even bigger fan than I am, but I love it too. We just really enjoy watching the planes, and if you do, the Myrtle Beach State Park is a great place to come and hang out on the beach because you will see even bigger planes come in. Last week we saw a really giant military plane come in. I mean, huge, one of the transport planes. Massive. That's really fun to see. One thing you do want to keep in mind, and we'll talk about more of the pluses, but one thing you want to keep in mind for the fall is hurricane season. Hurricane season runs from June 1st through the end of November. However, hurricanes are most common through about the middle of August through about the middle of October. And so that's when Myrtle Beach sees the most hurricane activity. And so you do want to keep that in mind. So if you're making a hotel reservation or any other kind of rental reservation, be sure you check and double check their policy if you have a mandatory evacuation for a hurricane. Most do not cover if you just choose to evacuate on your own when there's not a mandatory evacuation. Usually there's no coverage for that. But if there is a mandatory government issued evacuation, some rentals offer refunds, some only offer credits for a future stay. So you definitely want to read all of that. Make sure you know what their policy is if you're planning a trip anytime during hurricane season, but especially in those early fall months when you might be more likely to have a hurricane. Now for November, like I said, it is still hurricane season, but it is much less likely that you're going to see a hurricane at Myrtle Beach. However, it also starts getting a little too cool to swim in the ocean. Already in October, the ocean temperature has dropped now, but it is still swimmable. As you can see, there's some people out in the water, and it is still a temperature that most people would find reasonable to swim in. It's cool. It doesn't feel like bath water like it does in the summer, but it's tolerable, and with it this warm outside, you can totally swim. But in November, you'll have days like this where it's warm, and then you'll have days that it's jacket weather, jeans and jacket weather. So you definitely want to pack for all kinds of weather in the fall. That's another good tip. I mean, that's even true in October. September is usually pretty consistently warm. You might want to throw one sweatshirt or one jacket in, or one pullover, one fleece pullover. You probably won't need it. But the October and November are those in-between months. In fact, this year in October, very early October, it might have even been late September, we had freakishly cool weather just for a few days, but really, really cool weather. And by most people's standards, I know it's not cool. I'm talking about relative to normal Myrtle Beach weather for this time of the year. Like we had some mornings in the low 50s, and it didn't get real warm during the day either. But that is very, very unusual this early in the year. Not the norm. So nice. Really can't beat coming in the fall though. We've got a lot of videos coming out this month about things to do. I did go to Broadway at the beach and noticed that they had slightly reduced their hours. They open at 11 a.m. But like I said, most things are still open. That's an interesting plane. Wow, looks military. See if we get a better view of that here. Another thing to keep in mind if you come in the fall, wait till that goes by in case you can't hear me. Yep, that is a military plane. So one thing to keep in mind if you do come in the fall is to be sure and treat it just like the summer as far as sunscreen and those kind of things, because you still need sunscreen. That doesn't change with the fall weather. Yes, the sun is slightly further away from the earth due to the angle this time of the year, but you still can get quite burnt. So definitely bring the sunscreen, especially if you're going to do some sunbathing or swimming. Be prepared for that. Definitely still bring your swimsuit, like I said, even in November, you never know. You may get a day where you could swim, and if you can tolerate the water being a little cooler in the ocean, or your hotel may have a heated indoor pool, you never know. Always be prepared for all those things. Wow, so many people out. Must be a lot of people camping. Now, you can drive into the Myrtle Beach State Park and just spend the day there. You don't have to camp to stay there, so it could just be people doing that. But I bet there's like a bit of people camping, because usually this part of the beach doesn't have very many people on it, especially this time of the year. So there must be a lot of campers. It's perfect weather for camping. We did do a video on the Myrtle Beach State Park. If you're interested in that, I will link that video below in the description. It's really beautiful. Lots to do. Hiking trails, biking, walking on the beach, of course. It's really stunning. So definitely recommend the state park. There is a fee to get in, and we talk about that in the video. We go into all the details about that. So check that video out for more information. It's definitely something pretty unique, and it's right at the south end of Ocean Boulevard. So really, really easy to get to. And you can have a full day there. Pack a picnic, cook out. They have barbecues. fun place to go. We're heading down this pier that you see ahead of us is the Myrtle Beach State Park Pier, and if you have paid admission to get into the Myrtle Beach State Park, you can use that pier for free. I mean, it's not free since you paid to get into the park, but most piers charge an extra fee and that one does not. And you can fish off the pier, again, for free once you've paid your admission to the park. So that's a bonus. If you fish on the beach, you do need a South Carolina fishing license, but you do not, that's not required for pier fishing. And that's not just this pier, that's any pier. It's not required for pier fishing. Wow, this is incredible. I wish I could give you smell-o-vision. You can smell the ocean. It smells so nice. Looks so beautiful. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now and click subscribe so you won't miss anything new. Thanks so much for watching. Until our next adventure.